Breaking news now, a man is facing felony murder charges after leading officers on a chase that ended with his car upside down in a southeast Houston bayou. Investigators say an officer witnessed a possible drug deal off the Gulf Freeway around 3:30 this morning and then started chasing the suspect. At some point, that suspect pulled over, but only to throw a pistol out of his window before taking off. That's what investigators tell us. He ended up hitting a concrete barrier before crashing into the bayou, killing his passenger. The suspect now in the hospital with a broken arm. At this point, no one has been arrested.
While COVID-19 cases here are rising again, in El Paso, they're dealing with a massive surge in cases. The mayor there said they are running out of hospital beds.
ABC 13 reporter Nick Notario is in the Texas Medical Center with the latest.
To give you an idea of the difference between what's happening in Houston and El Paso, there are nearly 200 more COVID-19 patients in El Paso hospitals compared to all of the Texas Medical Center. And there are a lot more cases as well. Yesterday, El Paso reported nearly double the amount of cases compared to Houston. With hospitals nearing capacity, El Paso says it needs to start airlifting patients to other Texas hospitals. Now, here's what would happen. Up to 20 patients a day would be airlifted. It would be on a voluntary basis based on discussions with patients and their families. Now, there's also help coming to El Paso hospitals as well. Up to 4 fully functioning tents will be placed at hospital grounds there. And the city also wants to move non-COVID patients to a nearby military base. Now, the El Paso mayor gave us an update yesterday on just how dire the situation is.
And 37% of those positives were from visiting the stores and big box stores, the Walmarts and others. 22.5% were from restaurants, and 19% had traveled to Mexico. That's the primary bulk of where we were. Large gatherings, that seems to be a discussion among politicos, only 4% were from large gatherings, and we've stopped.
El Paso made changes about a week ago to try and slow the spread. It reduced capacity at restaurants and stores to 50%. It also ordered restaurants to shut down the grill by 9. Now, the city's also been doing contact tracing to see where the recent cases are coming from. They say nearly 40% contracted the virus at big box stores, another 22% at restaurants, and about 20% come from Mexico. Now, as far as a large gathering, the city says that it only found that 4% of recent cases happen in large group settings. Now, exactly where these patients will be airlifted to, we're not exactly sure if they will be coming to the Texas Medical Center, but we do know those airlifts will start soon to help those El Paso hospitals. From the Texas Medical Center, Nick Notario, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Sir, to home. Looking at Houston and Harris County coronavirus data, their health departments are reporting a combined 813 new cases yesterday. That's the highest daily total since 945 on August 4th. A look at the data from the Texas Medical Center now. The people tested within the medical system there show 4.2% are positive. That's an increase over last week and last month.
The pandemic effects have been felt by everyone. We know that, but you might not have known about the transportation industry. They are hurting too, now putting America's commercial bus industry at risk.
Unlike airlines, the bus industry has not received any funding from the $2.2 trillion CARES Act. This despite the fact that commercial bus lines provide 600 million passenger trips every year. One private bus company owner says he may have to close his business if he doesn't get support soon.
Doesn't feel good, and I know that if we don't soon get something, this may be a barbecue restaurant before it's over with. There's a whole lot of folks, just like Georgia Coach Lines around this country, that are calling on folks to do their jobs and cut out this fighting. Unite and get something done.
That owner, Clarence Cox, says he has spent more money lately on more extensive cleaning procedures for his business and hopes Congress will soon provide $10 billion in loans and grants to private transportation companies. All right, to your voice, your vote. A new ABC News poll just released about an hour ago is talking about the state of the current presidential race.
The new poll finds more than half of Americans have an unfavorable view of President Donald Trump right now at 57%, compared to the 35% who have a favorable view. Let's talk about former Vice President Joe Biden. 44% have a favorable view compared to 43% who have had an unfavorable view. Again, that's an ABC News poll.
According to the poll, 61% of Americans also disapprove of President Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic, and 78% of Americans still have concerns about the possibility of contracting the virus. Here's a look at early voting hours in Harris County. Speaking of politics, today polls will be open from noon until 7. Tomorrow it goes from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Then on Tuesday, hours will get longer and go from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. On Thursday, 8 locations will be open for 24 hours. Finally, on Friday, it's your absolute last chance to early vote. Locations will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Remember, as long as you are in line before the cutoff time, you will be allowed to vote.
A reminder, there's also an interactive map on harrisvotes.com. It's so easy to use. The website on your screen right now, you can find a full list of all polling locations. I used it yesterday. It is up to the minute. The hours for each location also listed and how long the wait times are. So important. Kevin, it's a gorgeous day to vote. We keep talking about it, but this weekend's been beautiful.
Yeah, it really has been. We're getting a little bit warmer, and then a couple cold fronts will cool us back down late next week. But let's go ahead and look into the tropics, because this is the very latest. Tropical storm Zeta formed early this morning. This is expected to become a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, 40-mile-per-hour maximum winds. Movement is stationary. It is not moving whatsoever, but it will start to move farther north. Here's the track of the system. I mentioned a hurricane in the Gulf. Again, we have seen this pattern so many times, these storms kind of clipping the Yucatan Peninsula, and then we're going to have a cold front that will move through and will steer this storm farther east. So we're looking at a landfall likely from Louisiana east. It is very unlikely that we see any impacts here in southeast Texas, but of course there's a hurricane in the Gulf. We're going to be watching it. That is what we do here at ABC 13. Let's zoom in on that cone just a little bit. I'd say that track for 2/3 of Louisiana, and really all of Louisiana, is over this hurricane season. I think most of us at this point are as well. 79 degrees your high temperature today. We're warming up to right around 84 by tomorrow. Going to be a little warmer, a little more humid as these southerly winds continue. But it's late Monday when a cold front moves through. That's going to help to knock down that heat. Also bring some rain chances Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Beyond that, once we start clearing out, it is beautiful weather for the latter half of the week and into Halloween weekend, rather. High temperatures are right around 70. Those lows falling into the low 50s and even 40s. So some very nice weather for the latter half of next week.